welcome to the channel talking all things Zelda. As Halloween approaches, diving into some of the creepiest places and moments in the Legend of Zelda series is a perfect way to set the mood. The Zelda franchise has some wonderfully eerie locations, unsettling characters, and mysterious stories that contribute to the creation of hauntingly beautiful atmospheres across the various entries in the series. Let's start with a good one. The invasion at Romani Ranch in Majora's Mask is one of the game's most unsettling side quests. Romani Ranch is a peaceful, remote location cut off from Termina's bustling central hub Clocktown. The isolation gives the invasion a more personal, intimate terror, as if Link is truly alone in facing these invaders. The once calm, sunny ranch turns into a haunted, vulnerable space at night. The invaders, referred to as simply them by Romani, are never fully explained. They look like ghostly, otherworldly creatures with glowing orbs and ethereal forms, unlike anything else in the game. Their appearance is vaguely reminiscent of classic UFO lore, but with a nightmarish twist. The ambiguity surrounding their origin and motives amplifies the sense of fear. They just show up at night and steal cows. And Romani herself, if they are allowed to succeed. The atmosphere is tense, with a limited amount of time to fend off the attackers before they reach the barn. Link's task is to defend the ranch from multiple angles and stop it from being overwhelmed. The consequence of failure is genuinely disturbing. If the player doesn't stop the invaders, Romani is abducted and later returns in a traumatized, almost hollow state. This is especially chilling because Romani is a cheerful and brave young girl, but after her abduction she appears dazed and confused, clearly having suffered some kind of emotional or psychological damage. Her personality change highlights how dark Majora's Mask can get. It's already a game steeped in existential dread, with the moon constantly looming above, threatening to end the world. The invasion at Romani Ranch is just one more piece of the creeping dread that permeates the game, and the looming apocalypse amplifies the urgency and unease, as if these creatures are part of the broader, inescapable chaos. It's truly one of the most memorable and terrifying sequences in the entire series. The Shadow Temple is infamous for its dark and horrifying atmosphere, filled with invisible walls, blood-stained floors, guillotines, and grim reapers. The temple is home to Dead Hand, a terrifying boss with a grotesque appearance and long pale hands that grab and immobilize Link. The whispers of spirits and tortured souls fill the air, and the entire temple is tied to themes of death and suffering, making it one of the most disturbing places in the Zelda universe. Kakariko Village was truly a disconcerting place in this iteration of Hyrule. Beneath the village lies a dark and twisted labyrinth of horrors. The bottom of the well is filled with nightmarish imagery, such as bloodstains, chains, and sinister sounds. This location is also home to the terrifying mini-boss Dead Hand, though a seemingly younger and smaller version than the one Link faces in the Shadow Temple, but nonetheless appearing equally grotesque. It remains unsaid, but you get the feeling that something truly horrific once happened down here, and combine that with the feeling of being trapped underground. This is not a recommended venue for Zelda's birthday party. And all of this is building the tension ahead of the inevitable final showdown with the unknown creature from the village well. The inference, of course, is that Bongo Bongo, boss of the Shadow Temple, is the being behind these atrocities. The way in which the interconnecting threads in Kakariko Village weave together is so beautifully done, and we never truly escape the feeling of unease there, fearing what turn the story will take next, or what further horrors await in this seemingly peaceful place. the escape from the well of what we later learn to be Bongo Bongo is a masterfully crafted scene that taps into the player's fear of the untold. Link doesn't see Bongo Bongo in full, but instead the well emits a dark force, accompanied by just a shadow and menacing audio cues. There's a real sense that something is very wrong, and worse is yet to come, with Link knowing that he'll need to face this creature eventually. The fact that this evil had been sealed underground, buried in Kakariko Village's well, suggests it was far too dangerous to be allowed to roam free, and when Link finally faces Bongo Bongo, there's something inherently terrifying about its dismembered appearance. If it looks like this, what has it done to its victims over the years? This fight was a truly satisfying crescendo to the whole mysterious Kakariko sequence. Moving on to one of the most fascinating dungeons in the entire series. The Arbiter's Grounds is essentially a haunted prison, where countless souls have been judged and subsequently lost to time. Not only that, but it was the site chosen for the execution of the evil Gerudo King Ganondorf. The haunting imagery of skeletal warriors and tortured beings pervades the entire area. The mini-boss, Death Sword, is an enormous decaying phantom bound by chains, adding to the macabre feeling of the dungeon. The Arbiter's Grounds also introduces ghostly enemies in the form of Pose, which show that the spirits that were judged here in eras gone by and were ultimately found wanting still linger trapped between the fabric of worlds, cursed to remain as spirits. The most notable of the trials at the Arbiter's Grounds, other than Ganondorf's, was the banishment of the Dark Interlopers, a group that attempted to use powerful, forbidden magic to dominate the Sacred Realm and seize control of the Triforce. Their lust for power and misuse of dark magic led to a conflict with the goddesses and the light spirits of Hyrule in what became known as the Interloper War. The Interlopers were highly skilled sorcerers, wielding an immensely powerful form of dark magic that was later contained within the fused shadow, a formidable artifact. In response to their ambitions, the goddesses ordered the light spirits to intervene, which resulted in the Interlopers being defeated. As punishment, they were banished to the Twilight Realm, where they transformed into the Twilight, the shadowy inhabitants of that realm. At the end of the dungeon, Link finds the Mirror of Twilight, an artifact that serves as a gateway between the light and dark worlds. The mirror is cracked and damaged, suggesting that some powerful entities have passed through its portal. The thought of this mirror reflecting the evils of the Twilight Realm and the descendants of the Dark Interlopers gives the Arbiter's Grounds an even more ominous edge, as if the veil between realities is thin and darker forces could slip through at any moment. We come to learn, however, that although the game's antagonist, Zant, is heavily influenced by the legacy of the Dark Interlopers and their desire for power, not all Twilight are in fact evil. The Twilight Princess also descends from the Twilight, and her journey involves undoing the damage caused by Zant and the dark magic he wielded. The Lost Woods in Breath of the Wild are designed to evoke a sense of mystery. The dense, swirling fog obscures Link's vision and makes navigating the woods both disorienting and isolating. The Lost Woods are infamous throughout the series for their confusing layout. Taking a wrong turn results in transportation back to the beginning. The woods feel alive, as if they're actively trying to prevent outsiders from progressing, which, of course, they are, as their purpose is to provide a protected, safe haven for the Deku Tree and the Koroks, who inhabit the woods as children of the forest. Coupling this labyrinth with the ambient sounds and haunting music, with eerie chimes, confers a feeling that the area is forbidden. While the Koroks are whimsical, the woods are a place where powerful, ancient magic governs everything. It's the fear of the unknown and the consequences of straying from the path that adds a layer of tension for the player, as who knows what might be lurking in the mist or hiding in the dense foliage. Ikana Canyon is a land of death and decay, ruled by restless spirits and undead enemies. The area is steeped in tragedy, particularly with the demise of the ancient kingdom of Ikana, whose king and soldiers have been cursed to eternally wander as spirits. Arguably, one of the most disturbing moments in the game comes when Link enters Pamela's house, and her father has been transformed into a Gibdo. Hearing Pamela's panicked cries to stay away from her father and seeing her desperately trying to protect him is both heart-wrenching and terrifying. While this scene is intended to be visually disturbing, it is also deeply emotional and brilliantly accentuates the feeling of unease that permeates through the whole region, especially with the ever-present moon looming over Termina with the threat of an impending doom, and Majora's Mask asserting its influence and operating from the shadows. Next up, in one of the most surreal moments in Zelda history, Link ascends into the moon during the final moments of Majora's Mask. Inside, the atmosphere is suspiciously peaceful. A vast open field with a lone tree in the distance, which contrasts sharply with the intense, chaotic events leading up to this point. However, the innocent-looking children playing hide and seek and their cryptic dialogue add layers of unsettling apprehension. It's a moment that feels more abstract than overtly scary, but this is arguably more thought-provoking as it leaves the player questioning the nature of the world and the true intentions behind Majora's looming apocalypse. While Skyward Sword's aesthetic was generally a bit more light-hearted, the Silent Realm tests Link's courage in a world stripped of colour and sound. The Silent Realm is already unnerving due to its empty, desolate landscape and quiet ambience. However, it's the eerie Guardians, gigantic looming figures with glowing eyes that are the ever-menacing presence here. The moment the Guardians awaken, an ominous chime rings out and they relentlessly pursue Link. The tension created by this pursuit and the complete lack of any way to fight back makes the Silent Realm one of the more nerve-wracking experiences in the series. Still one of my favourite moments within any Zelda game, being both unexpected and epic, is the battle with Dark Link in Ocarina of Time's Water Temple. In a surreal, seemingly unending and ethereal room that has no place within a temple, Link faces a shadowy version of himself that mirrors his own moveset. What makes this particularly disconcerting is that Link walks past the tree where this dark spectre is hiding, before finding his path forward blocked. It is only when Link turns around that it becomes clear that not everything is as it seems. I'll never forget the moment when, as a player, I realised a sinister figure was omnipresent within this area, waiting for its moment to strike. The isolation of the room combines with the quiet, reflective waters to provide a haunting setting for the showdown, while the mirage-like surroundings fade to reveal the room underneath following the battle. The memory of the encounter is something that will never fade for each of the player and Link. Zelda games are adept at building tension and creating memorable moments while immersing players in worlds of dark magic, cursed lands and haunted ruins, any of which are perfect for getting into the Halloween spirit. Which moments within the Zelda franchise come to mind for you at this time of year? Let me know in the comments below, and if you share my passion for all things Legend of Zelda, please help me out and hit that subscribe button. I've got lots of stuff planned, including some great theories and Zelda stories to delve into soon. Thanks, have a good one, and catch you next time.